What is going on, YouTube? Quick video today, just kind of reacting to the last UFC fight night, Duplessis versus Usman, just reacting to the results. So I'll go ahead and start where I watched. I started watching the RJ Harris versus Hines. I thought it was a good win from Harris. He had a lot of good I mean, he was kind of waiting a little bit. He was definitely nervous, but I mean, as soon as he landed on Hines was just out and finished pretty cleanly. So yeah, good win from Harris. I believe I threw, so going back from my last video, I threw money on Hines. So yeah, there we go. That's an L. But yeah, it's interesting to see what he'll do against another long fighter. Obviously he was huge compared to Hines, and so I'd be interested to see what happens after that. Going on to the next fight, Cordia versus Nickel. I mean, this was it was closer than a lot of people thought. Obviously the fight, look at the odds, like it should have been a starch from Cordia, and he kind of not struggled, but just kind of let Nickel get into the fight a little bit more. And so yeah, it wasn't the best performance from Correa. He even said it towards the end. He wasn't really trying to like, he wasn't impressed with his performance. And like I said here, Nickel really wasn't trying to win. He was just trying not to lose. And you can tell, but just how he was fighting, he wasn't really trying. It didn't look like he was trying to win. He was just letting Correa kind of dictate the pace, dictate where the fight goes, and he was just reacting to that instead of trying to put his own game plan into perspective. Moving on to the next fight, Anderson versus Elliott. Really wasn't what I expected. Elliott was way bigger than Anderson. Anderson's a huge jiu-jitsu guy, was huge in the jiu-jitsu game, and then just coming to the MMA, he's undefeated, he's still good, but yeah, and Elliott was huge, and Elliott has been in this division, and Anderson is talking about moving down in weight, and I think it makes sense because there was a huge difference in the size compared to these. And so yeah, Elliott, when he got into like certain positions, like where he was like on top of him or like kind of controlling the wrestling, which he did a lot, he wasn't really doing a whole lot. He still had good wrestling. He was still doing really well to get into those positions, but he wasn't putting a lot of damage on Anderson. And so it was just kind of like a wrestling match, and with a little punches in between. But yeah, I went with, I don't think these were the actual odds. Anderson a favorite? I don't think these were the actual odds, because I said I bet on Anderson based off the odds. I didn't actually bet, but I said to pick Anderson based off the odds. But I thought Anderson was an underdog, so I had to look back at my video and see exactly my previous video and see exactly what I did here. The next fight, that was Anderson Elliott was a good fight. The next fight was kind of crazy because Felipe Franco was an underdog. Levi Jr. was kind of on a 6-fight win streak, I believe, all first round. And so he landed early on Felipe Franco, right? But Felipe kind of ate it super well. And so it was a crazy good fight. Yeah. So in my notes, you can see Felipe had a solid chin and great wrestling, led to big ground and pound. And so that's what ended up getting the finish, right? A ground and pound. And so, yeah, it was a super good fight. On to the next fight, also a super good performance from both of these guys, JP and Co. It was a very good fight. Obviously went into decision, but solid wrestling, solid boxing, mixing in wrestling. JP definitely worked harder for that dub, and so that was my second win on the pick. I picked JP, obviously at 150 odds. I thought that was a solid pick, and so yeah, you got the money there. Going on to the next fight, I had Delgado, even though he was an underdog. I still picked him. Bashi had a good quick start. He dropped Delgado early. Solid striking until he got dropped. And after he got dropped by Delgado, then Bashi kind of struggled. In the stand-up was kind of like, I don't know if he was scared of the power, scared of getting completely knocked out. But yeah, you can see here, Delgado showed because he wasn't really looking to finish. Like as much as he was, his last fight, same thing. Like he could have finished the guy at any point and just kind of stopped, kind of wrestled, kind of did some like just standing and waiting. Like, dude, go for the finish, right? Like how are you not like this guy is Bashi was stumbling around and they got to just waiting there, just not really throwing, just looking at what, like trying to react off of Bashi. Like, just finish him. Right? Like going in the next fight, like we're talking about the next fight, that's someone that was looking for the finish the whole time. Delgado really wasn't looking for the finish. And so, yeah, it was really upsetting to see Delgado not get the finish there when he easily could have multiple times. And so, yeah, I think it's still a good performance from both of these guys. Like Bashi didn't really lose stake. He's still a really good fighter, and Delgado obviously he still gained some stake because he got the win. But it hurts to see him not get that finish after he was so upset with himself against Philly for not getting the finish. And so he once again did it again. On to the next fight, which was I think my favorite fight of the night. I can't believe it didn't get fight of the night. Was McMillan versus Montes. I guess it really wasn't fight of the night. Definitely performance. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely performance of the night. Definitely not fight of the night. Because it was really one-sided. Montes didn't really. He did all right in the first round, but then he kind of never really threw after that. And so, yeah, it was still a good performance. I mean, it was a huge performance from Tommy McMillan, who had like I said, had a really good performance, made it really one-sided, was just kind of putting the pressure onto Montes, and Montes did well. I mean, he had a chin until the very end, and then finally kind of gave up. Not gave up, but got destroyed. And just kind of his body gave up, not necessarily him, but his body gave up. And so, yeah, that was a really good fight from Tommy McMillan. I said, Tommy wanted to get a bigger fight. He wanted to fight a Mexican on UFC Noche, which I'm wearing the shirt from the last UFC Noche, or the two UFC Noches ago. But I said maybe Delgado, right? Fought before him. He's ranked. Delgado's ranked. McMillan isn't ranked. Same weight class. Like, I think that would be a good fight. Someone that's longer. Delgado's long. He obviously can hit hard, and he's gonna try to fight, like he's gonna try to go for the win. Maybe not the finish where McMillan will go for the finish, but I think Delgado has really good boxing, has good wrestling, but McMillan, like, test out the boxing there. Obviously McMillan's a wrestler, but I think it would be, we saw his last performance. These were two submission specialists, right? McMillan versus Montes. And so I think that would be a good fight, wrestler versus Delgado, just to see. I mean, obviously McMillan can stay on the feet. And so it would be interesting to see what happens there versus that fight. And yeah, like I said, Delgado really wasn't that hurt. He didn't really get hurt. He had a clean performance. A lot of Bashi was wrestling, but didn't really get hurt, and put some damage on Bashi, but like I said, didn't really get hurt. So throw them on in UFC Noche. Tommy McMillan versus Delgado. And Tommy McMillan wanted a Mexican. Throw him on there. There you go. That would be my next fight for Tommy McMillan. Going to the next fight, Klein versus Richie kind of played out exactly what I wanted, the way that I thought it would. She had a lot of really good striking versus Tabitha Richie, she was a lot longer, a lot bigger than Tabitha Richie. And I think she'll be bigger than most of these girls at the division. And, she had a good wrestling performance as well. She was a lot better than I thought she was going to be. But still, I thought she was going to win pretty easily. And that's exactly what happened. On to the next fight. This was crazier than I thought. I thought Ramirez would at least try to land something, right? Chase Hooper kind of took him down really easily and he finished it super easy. Not really much to say about that. My pick was Ramirez just because I thought he would hurt Hooper, but he never really got the chance to. And so, yeah, that's kind of it for that one. My notes, Hooper easy peasy. There's really not much else to say about that. That was kind of a really fast fight. Next fight, Cannonier versus CLD. This was a super good fight. Cannonier still very durable. CLD was landing some huge shots on Cannonier, throwing hard as possible on everything, and was landing so much. It was a pretty clean fight from CLD. Cannonier still was landing, still was like wrestling a lot, like he was still doing well, but CLD's just CLD, and he was just landing clean and got a clean win, to be honest. And so not really much else to say about that. I thought CLD was going to win. So yeah, that's a good pick from me. Going on to the last fight, the main event, Duplessis versus Usman. Definitely not what I expected. Duplessis is huge compared to Usman. And so, yeah, he was really just 100% there, and everything that he was landing on Usman was just hurting him, and so it was just really hard for Usman to get success. But he just wasn't. He really wasn't throwing, wasn't really wrestling, and maybe it was just the size difference. I don't know, but maybe he was just scared of getting knocked out. We'll never know. My pick was Usman just because of the odds, but dude, even the odds were crazy. The odds should have been way crazier than what it was. Because had I noticed how big Duplessis was compared to Usman, I definitely would have thrown on Duplessis. But just because I think size matters so much in these fights. Like Duplessis, he's in that fight, he's looking at like. He looked like he was 230. Like he looked huge, and Usman's probably in there 200, right? Still big for the division, but like Duplessis massive, and there's bigger guys than Duplessis in that division. So I think that's a tough division for Usman. I think he should move back down, but he's older. Who knows how that weight cut goes for him? And so yeah, those were my picks. Just reacting to my picks. So I went. Let's really quick. I didn't throw anything on this last fight, but I did say pick Usman just because of the odds. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 6 L's, 5 wins. So pretty even on the night. Almost made our money back. And so. Yeah, but the wins were nice because they were mostly underdogs. Like John Paul, it throw money on that. That was an underdog, so that was nice. I didn't put. Oh no, I threw money on Hines. There was another underdog. John Paul, Delgado was an underdog. That was my pick. Klein was a huge favorite. CLD was a huge favorite. Yeah, I mean, pretty even on the night. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about UFC Fight Night Duplessis versus Usman. Let me know what you guys thought about my picks in my last video, and hope to see you guys on my next video. Leave a like if you like this content. See you guys. Peace.